Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Lakers got the victory last night against the Toronto Raptors in a game where we lost Anthony Davis to an eye injury again. Hopefully he puts on the goggles from here on out. I'm not really sure how long he's gonna miss time, but you know, it's up in the air at this point. There's no new update, so we will not speculate. But last time he was able to only miss a couple of games, but he's been hit in the same eye twice. And so, you know, luckily enough for our scheduling, we're off today and tomorrow. And we'll play again on Wednesday night. So hopefully that'll give him enough time to kind of heal, from what I understand. If it's the same injury, last time they said it can heal up in a couple of days. You know, the eye tends to heal itself rather quickly from these type of things if it's the same injury. So that's what we learned last time. Hopefully it's the same situation. But right now, that's what the situation is. We haven't gotten that update yet, man. Injuries are bad right now in this league. I'm not going to sit up here and say I've never seen it be this bad, because I do recall we've had some years where injuries were prevalent. But we're talking about some major players going down, man. You know, Chet Holmgren's going to be out for 8 to 10 weeks with a broken hip. Saw that injury yesterday. That was pretty intense. But, you know, if I'm being honest with you, when it comes to his injury, I don't think everybody breaks their hip in that situation. I just think he's not built particularly strong and particularly for these type of falls. But certain guys, they fall on that same hip and it might be a bruised hip. It ain't going to be broken. He's not that strong of a guy, man. And that's really what it comes down to with certain bodies. You're not going to get the most out of them. They fall the wrong way. They out for months, you know, at a time. So I think Chet may be one of those guys. Not everybody's going to break their hip on that fall. It was an ugly fall, no doubt. But, you know, he particularly has a bad injury there. And I just think that's unfortunate for him. But, you know, we talk about Banchero. He's out for, what, multiple weeks. Of course, we talk about Scotty Barnes. He's out for multiple weeks. Giannis is playing through something right now with the knee. It's just a lot of injuries, man. New injuries popping up left and right. John Morant is out for weeks. Not sure how many weeks, but he's week to week right now. You're looking at Zion Williamson. He's week to week at the moment. It's like, damn, man. And the funny thing is yesterday, as a fantasy basketball fan, I was updating my rosters. I got them all updated, all 100 of my teams, however many I got, just to find out that there's another injury and got to go back and recalibrate. Just to find out there's another injury and it happened 3 times. Kevin Durant, Zion Williamson, and Chet Holmgren. I had to go back after completing all of my updates just to make sure that I can have my lineups. One of my teams going to be playing a hurt dude this week just because I've had so many people injured at the same time. So it's like, man, I'm not sure what KD's injury is, but he's also week to week. So, you know, it's just one of those situations where, man, the NBA's going to have to figure something out. I don't know if they're going to spread these games out a bit more. I don't know if it's in the way these guys are working out, or what it is that their expectations are for their bodies versus what it is going to now be required. But the NBA's having a hard time keeping their talent on the floor, man, for the schedule. And that's really what it comes down to. Within the first 2 weeks of the season, some of your biggest names are hurt for multiple weeks. I don't remember this being like this when I was a kid. Guys would go down, but not so many prevalent names going down at once to start the damn season. So, yeah, that's a real thing, man. Of course, the Lakers are dealing with injuries as well. We're still waiting on Christian Wood and Vanderbilt. Obviously now with AD, we're not really sure what we're looking at there. But, you know, hopefully he'll be okay and be ready to go in the next game with goggles on hand, man. And I know he doesn't want to wear them. A lot of people have cited that it has to do with the aesthetic, I guess is the word, how it looks. I think that's a stupid reason not to protect your eyesight, to be honest with you. I know I'm washed and 40 years old and all that, so I get it. AD's still in his young age, and appearance means a lot, especially when you're being watched by millions of people. But wearing goggles is not cool, if that makes any sense. It ain't that much of a, it's not like you're walking around in a tutu, bro. Like, goggles were worn by some of the most prominent Lakers of all time, bro. And they wore them for the same reason you need to, and it's to protect your eyes. And I don't know how many times we're going to go through this with Anthony Davis. You know what I mean? It's your eyesight, brother. And I get it. You got a lot of money, so you can afford to take care of yourself in ways that most of us can't. Got the, best optometrist in the world. You can fly out to Europe to see the guy or whatever. I get it, but at the end of the day, you only get 2 of them. And if you lose your eyesight, that's it, bro. You don't get it back. And so for me, it's like, you keep getting hit in the eye and stuff like that at 30 years old. Believe you me, man, there's going to be a time in your life when you're much older, when you're going to wish to God that you would have did a much better job taking care of the things that you could have taken care of while you were younger, so that they don't get as bad as they're ultimately going to get as you get older. You're getting scratched in the eye every 6 months. Yeah, you may not see nothing wrong with that right now. You may be able to get through that right now in your 30s, but bro, you're going to be in your 60s 30 years from now. And how bad will your eyesight be because of it? Because you didn't take care of these things when you had an opportunity to. These are things that need to be expressed to these young guys, man, because they take their health for granted, but they don't understand that the problems pile up to affect them when they get older. And when it comes to your sight, you do not play with that. You do not play with that. And so I think he needs to be wearing goggles. I think Scotty Barnes needs to be wearing goggles when he gets back. And I think more of these guys need to consider eyewear as a precautionary measure, not just as a means of putting something on after getting hurt, but protecting yourself before that happens, so that you never even have to have some of these problems that some of these dudes are going to have. And so that's my take on the situation. I think it needs to be a return to goggles. There was a time when guys didn't want to wear mouth guards. Now you see mouth guards way more prevalent. Every other mouth has a mouth guard in it, because they don't want to lose teeth, man. It ain't nothing cute about losing teeth. It ain't nothing cute about having emergency dental surgery. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessary. You can put a mouth guard in your mouth, and you getting hit in the mouth, you might bust your lip a little bit, but your teeth stay intact, your jaw stays intact, or what have you. These are the type of things that can be the difference between missing games and not. And you have an obligation to yourself and to your team. So, this idea that we're not wearing goggles because they don't look good, I don't know what type of stuff that is, but guys got to start taking their vision more seriously, and their availability more seriously. Because if you're AD, your team suffers when you miss even a quarter. You know what I'm saying? We hurting when you sit down for a breather. So for you to mean this much to us, you need to be more unselfish in regards to being willing to wear those goggles. Now, if you have trouble seeing in those goggles, or if they're just so damn uncomfortable, then just like anything else, you just got to get used to it. And the more you wear them, the more used to it you'll get. I remember when I first had to wear masks at work, for the COVID situation, I was working through COVID. I hated wearing my mask. I used to take it off anytime nobody wasn't looking. But eventually, over time, it got so comfortable that I felt naked without it, and had to adjust to what life felt like without a mask. How to adjust what it looked like when people are staring at me in my full face. Having that mask over my head started to, become more normal than what it was ever supposed to become in that era. So it's like, you're going to get used to anything. But if you never give yourself an opportunity to get used to it, then it's always going to be foreign to you. But at the end of the day, when it comes to your sight and protecting your vision, and you keep getting hit in the eye, you got to put something over your eye so that you ain't getting knocked around like that, so that nobody can scratch your cornea for the 3rd and 4th time. And as I said last night, if you've already been hit 3 times in the eye, and you ain't see the fruit in putting on the glasses, then just prepare for the 4th one. You're going to get hit again. It's going to happen. It's not even about if. You're welcoming it. And you got to understand also something else. A lot of these players in this league, they keep tally on what type of injuries you got. They know when you have a hurt finger. They know when you've been scratched in the face. They know that you get hit in the eye, you removed from the game. It gives them an opportunity to have an easier night, not having to deal with you. It gives their team an opportunity to win the game. They know they remove you, they cool, and you got a problem with your sight. And it's going, you're going to block my shot? Okay. I know you got that eye thing going on. Let me dig my fingers into that eye a little bit. get back at you for embarrassing me here when I'm trying to dunk on you. Yeah, I don't know if that's what Jakob Poeltl was thinking, but it's damn sure enough evidence to show that that's possible. And AD left it wide open by not wearing his goggles. You know what I mean? Knowing that he's a guy that's been scratched in the face a bunch of times. So, you know, you're a physical player. You play, you know, up close to people. You're gonna contest shots face to face with guys. This is something that you got to see coming next time. You know, you got to see it coming. You can't be a guy that just be like, nah, I don't want to wear my goggles, because you know that the way your game is set up, you're gonna be hitting face. So, you know, it's not like you're parking in the corner shooting threes all night. You're the one going for every board. You're the one that's going to be blocking every shot. So it's like you get a much higher chance of things going wrong in that way. And so that's what it comes down to for Anthony Davis. You know, you can't tell a person to do what they need to do. Some people are too hell-bent on doing things the way they want to do it. And when the bad consequences come, they end up regretting it the most. But wisdom is not to be shunned. I keep telling people, you're going to make certain mistakes. You're going to find out that those mistakes are going to ultimately not be worth it, and that you should have listened to the people who were telling you what to do to protect yourself from the consequences. And so this is one of them situations. I don't know how uncomfortable it is for him to wear those goggles. I don't know how self-conscious he may be about wearing goggles and what that looks like to him. You know, trying to look like James Worthy. I don't know how embarrassed he is about trying to look like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in a Laker jersey. I don't know what that is for him personally, but I do know he needs to weigh that against how important his vision is in the long term. You know what I mean? in his eye, he needs to weigh that against missing time every time he gets hit in the face. So that's what it really comes down to. I don't particularly think he's being all that mature about this right now. I really don't. I don't think I think his immaturity is on display when this continues to be the case. So that's how I'm taking it. But you know, and the whole it's uncomfortable wearing them thing, at the end of the day, I'm sure it's much more uncomfortable in that pain that you was in when you was laying on the ground squirming back and forth because your eye had been scratched the last 3 times it happened. Not just last night, but every other time it happened too. It's like, okay, bro, you want to be hard-headed? This is what happens. So, yeah, maybe one day Anthony Davis will come around to understand that the goggles are probably the better choice for him, even if they are uncomfortable, if he can't see that well out of them or whatever the type of adjustment need to go through. He needs to just go through that adjustment. You know what I mean? That's it. If you can't see through the goggles very well, you sure as hell ain't gonna be able to keep seeing very well if people keep scratching you. So if that's a discomfort, then you need to weigh that against the permanent nature of your sight not being available to you, because that's exactly what you're risking. So that's really what it comes down to, man. People just got to get off of that spoiled nature of I do what I want to do, and I'm rich, so I do whatever I want to do, and you're not having to adjust to certain things in life that require people to go through some discomfort in order to do what's necessary and what's wise. A lot of times people who are very wealthy, they're not used to having to do things that are very uncomfortable. They do what they have to do. They do what it is that's best for their reputation. But when it comes to certain things that they just really don't want to do, that they don't see the fruit in doing, them are the very things that help them a lot of the time. They're like, yo, wear that. No, it doesn't look good. I can't see. It's uncomfortable. All right. Cool. Get scratched again. So that's my take on Anthony Davis, man. He needs to get off of that I'm not doing it and get on that it's for the better for me, period. And if I'm LeBron James, that's exactly what I'm telling him. As an elder statesman, somebody who knows better, got him by about 9 years, I'm in his ear saying, listen, bro, we need you. Your team needs you. And you need to wear this for us. If you're not going to wear it for your own self, wear it for us, so that you don't keep getting knocked out of games and stuff like this. You know, one of the things that I think is good, though, is if he does have to miss some time because of this injury with the eye, at least it allow him to rest the foot. Because he's got that plantar fasciitis in that left foot, and that's not something that goes away really at all. So the more rest that he has on that, the better. And if this injury with the eye is going to help him rest that even further, it's probably for the best in the long run. So we can look at it that way if we want. But You know, I think at the end of the day, this was preventable, and the next one will be preventable too. So that's really how that looks to me. But yeah, man, hopefully guys can get healthy all over the league, man. And you know, and the NBA can have good product on the floor at all times. I think, you know, what concerns me is just looking forward, seeing other players that have been able to stay healthy thus far. Who's next? You know, that's what this is starting to become a situation of who's going to go down next and how is that going to affect the NBA. Luckily enough, most of the injuries that we're seeing are not long-term injuries for the rest of the season. All of the injuries that we've spoken of, these guys are coming back. Even Chet Holmgren was expected to come back probably somewhere around the All-Star break, in my guess. Maybe even sooner. Maybe sooner than that. So that's the good thing about it. It's still what? April, mid-April? A lot of these injuries that are supposed to be 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, it's not going to even, they're not even going to miss half the season. So that's what's encouraging about all of this. But, you know, at the end of the day, if I'm going to say anything at all, I'll just say guys got to take everything in regards to what they put in their body, how they stretch, and all those things very seriously. If you don't, those injuries are more likely to happen regardless of what anybody says. You know, guys that are not particularly strong, I think they need to be doing everything that they're already doing, weight training, and they need to have their own little personal push-up regimen at home on top of everything else that they do. I really believe that. Just like I do. Every time I use the restroom, I do push-ups. You know what I mean? On top of everything else that I'm doing, I just got that worked into my routine. That way I'm always building strength no matter if I'm having a workout day or not. There's always something being done to promote health within my own body. Even if I'm not feeling good, I'm still doing the push-ups. I'm still doing the morning squat regimen to the point where it doesn't even count as a workout. So that's what people need to do to try to help themselves, especially as they get older. If you're an athlete, you can't just say, well, I stretched with the team and I worked out with the team and now I get to go home and eat what I want to eat, sit down and do nothing. You know, that only works if you're not dealing with an 82-game schedule for 13 years straight. If you're dealing with an 82-game schedule for 13 years straight, it's going to require you to have a great balance of rest and work. And if your nutrition is trash, that's going to hurt. That's what it really comes down to. If your nutrition is bad, and you like to drink, or whatever the case may be, you're going to struggle with injuries. And that's what we need to really embed into the head of these young people, because a lot of times young people don't really care about that type of stuff. They, like I said, take their health for granted, think the way they feel right now when they're 20 is how they're going to feel forever, or that being old is so far away that they don't really need to care about how to prevent themselves from feeling, you know, chronic pain in the future. It starts now for athletes and non-athletes. Try to take care of themselves, but especially athletes who are going to be doing a lot of strenuous stuff in their young era. Because as you age after the game's over with, you start having all types of aches and pains and unnecessary problems that are affected by not necessarily taking care of yourself, but doing something physical throughout the years where you felt great in your youth. So that's what I have to say. I think, you know, these guys should start thinking about their long term, man. Not nearly as much as maybe football does, but NBA is still a physical sport. And these guys are falling hard to injuries early in their lives. Injuries that could linger for a long time. You know what I mean? Knee problems, hip problems, stuff like that. Ain't nothing to play with. And so that's why I think these guys got to recover as well. And these organizations have to be patient with these guys as it pertains to asking them to come back too soon. I know this is a business, and in the grand scheme of things, people don't, you know, businesses don't really care about the people as much as they care about the performance of the people. They don't really care about you recovering as much as they care about the production that you can give us for rushing back in some cases. The human nature of it comes tertiary, so to speak, third or fourth down the list. And for the player themselves, they just got to take their health much more seriously and care for themselves in ways that the organization is not going to. And that's what needs to be said. I remember Tim Duncan had a knee injury one time, and he basically told the San Antonio Spurs that he wasn't coming back until the knee injury was healed. He didn't care about nothing. When he was 100%, he'd get back out there. And as a result, he came back 100%, got back to his MVP championship winning ways, and had an extended career that lasted for as many years as it did. If he would have rushed back from that injury like other athletes did, his career probably would have been cut short. That injury probably would have had a relapse or some type of way. You just sometimes got to take your health into your own hands and not wait for those professionals to care about whether or not your production is going to meet their timeline or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to say there. I just think that for a guy like Chet Holmgren, whose team is trying to win a championship, he should take his time coming back from that hip. If they say 8 to 10 and you don't feel right in that 8th week, stretch it out to 10. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself all the time to get 100%, because if you don't build strength after healing, then that you're just one fall away from re-injuring yourself as well. So that's also part of what I have to say to a guy like Vanderbilt, who's been dealing with the foot and let the organization rush him back when he wasn't ready. And now you look at him, still trying to come back almost a year later, still not 100%. That's what really happens when you allow organizations to rush you back into the equation. Sometimes you just got to go out there when you're ready, and don't let them tell you when you're ready, because only you know how you feel, you know. Now, some players take it a little further than what we think makes any sense, like Kawhi Leonard. I think his situation is very unique. No matter how much time he rests, he's always hurt. So that's a whole nother story, but I think that's kind of the idea, is to just come back when you're ready, not necessarily when the team doctors tell you you're ready or whatever. So that's my point of view. That's been my point of view for a long time. And I too find myself frustrated with how long it takes guys to come back, but the body heals when it heals, and strength needs to be built after the healing process is put in place. So that's my take on things, man. Injuries is what's hitting this NBA right now. And for my Lakers, we're so sensitive to one or two players playing well in order for us to be any good, that this could be a real problem for us if we have injuries to the wrong people going forward. I think of a guy like Tyrese Maxey as well. Joel Embiid's coming back from his injury. Paul George started the season injured. And Philadelphia's in that same boat with a 3-star model, to where most of their talent is wrapped up in 3 players. And all 3 of them players are trying to fight through injury. When are they ever going to be on the floor at the same time? You know, Bradley Beal's day-to-day right now for the Phoenix Suns. Of course, we already mentioned KD. Like, this is a team at the top of the Western Conference who has a 3-star model. They could go on a 7-game losing streak. 2 of those guys go down. You know, it's like, that's why I say I think the way the standings are in the NBA right now doesn't really tell the story, to be honest with you, because a lot of these teams have to stay 100% healthy in order to be as good as they are right now. They don't have the depth to really withstand any injury. So a lot of those are teams that are doing well right now, to be honest with you. Teams that have had injury issues in the past that are now healed up, like Cleveland. They heal healthy right now. If they go down with an injury, then they're back looking like the Cleveland Cavaliers we know for the last couple of years. So it's like, you know, depth matters as well. Depth, making sure that your team has an adequate bench of players that you can trust, so that guys don't have to rush back from injury and you can still be a winning team. That's a real important thing, man. We talk about it every day on this channel in some shape or form. And, you know, it's definitely prevalent as we consider this conversation now. These GMs and these organizations need to stop mortgaging away their picks, so they have high enough affordable talent, high playing level, affordable rookie contracts that can help build the depth and provide the upside. And the more that you have, the more you can withstand your most expensive players going down with injury, handling those injuries in a way that doesn't ask some guys to rush back. So, yeah, man, all of this stuff kind of plays intertwined with one another, kind of goes with one another, and that's ultimately what we want people to understand. So that is pretty much what I want to say about that. Heal up, everybody. BDF44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.